Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're looking at some excerpts from the Kenya News Agency.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's about this public lecture they had at Chuka University,
Okay.
and it's all about how Kenyan universities are becoming like these hubs for entrepreneurship,
Mm.
but like not just the ivory tower kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
a lot of practical skills
Yeah.
and turning ideas into businesses and, really trying to make a difference.
Yeah, it's great to see this emphasis on, real world results and not just, thinking and writing papers.
Yeah.
Universities are really being encouraged to equip students with the skills
Uh-huh.
to not only, have the knowledge, but to actually turn it into solutions
Yeah.
and to create, economic growth and
So it sounds like the government is really taking a proactive approach here.
yeah, definitely.
Can you tell me a little bit more about this push for entrepreneurship?
Absolutely. So the government is basically urging universities to be
Mm-hmm.
key players in this transformation of Kenya. And Julius Kibet Bitok, he's the principal secretary,
Mm-hmm.
he's been emphasizing that Kenya needs to reduce its reliance on imports.
Mm.
And he's really pushing for young people to become
Yeah.
creative and innovative entrepreneurs.
Like imagine if locally made products just became the norm.
Right.
Would that really make a difference, do you think? Would it really help transform the economy?
It has the potential, right? We've seen in other places
Yeah.
that when you support local businesses, you get all these good effects.
Yeah.
Job creation,
Mm.
more economic activity,
Right.
a greater sense of community ownership.
Yeah.
Uh, of course, there are challenges too,
Like what?
like making sure that there's good quality control and, building those supply chains and making them sustainable.
Right.
But still, there are a lot of potential benefits.
Yeah, and it sounds like some universities, like Chuka University, are stepping up
Oh, yeah, they are.
to kind of take on this challenge.
Yeah, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Henry Mutenbade, he's been talking about creating partnerships with industrialists
Oh, wow.
and entrepreneurs to give students that practical experience
Mm.
alongside their, academic learning.
So really bridging the gap between the theoretical and the practical.
Exactly, like helping students get the skills they need to actually succeed in the real world.
Yeah, because it's one thing to, learn about something in a textbook, but
Good.
it's a whole other thing to actually be out there and doing it.
Exactly, and I think, connecting students with experienced entrepreneurs
Yeah.
can give them that valuable insight and mentorship.
But what about funding?
Yeah, that's...
Because starting a business can be expensive.
Yeah, you're right. Funding is a big piece of the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the government's new academic funding model comes in.
Okay.
They're working on making sure that all students, no matter their background, can access quality education,
Yeah.
which is a pretty big investment in the future of Kenya.
Yeah, it is.
It shows they're serious about building a skilled workforce.
Mm.
But how does it actually support entrepreneurs?
Yeah. What are the details?
Well, the article doesn't get into specifics,
Oh, okay.
but we can kind of guess, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe they're offering seed grants for student startups or funding for those entrepreneurship centers and incubators.
Yeah.
Maybe even scholarships for business students.
Right.
We'll have to see how it all plays out.
And we've also got Dr. Narendra Raval speaking at this lecture, too.
Oh, yeah, he's an industrialist and entrepreneur himself.
Right.
And he's really emphasizing that igniting that spark,
Yeah.
that entrepreneurial spirit in young people is so important.
Hmm.
He's saying it's not just about making money,
Right.
but also about, finding purpose, creating wealth for yourself and for society,
Yeah.
really building a successful society.
That's a pretty inspiring picture he's painting.
It is.
But are there any, tangible examples,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
like, of this vision in action?
The article talks about Pamela Puko.
Okay.
She's a student at Chuka University,
Uh.
and she developed these biodegradable sanitary pads.
What?
Yeah, and get this, they're made from banana fiber.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's super innovative, and her project's already getting funding and what they call incubation support.
Wait, hold on. What's incubation support?
Good question. It's basically like giving startups the resources
Mhm.
and guidance they need to grow and succeed.
Okay.
So, like mentorship from experienced entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
access to office space and equipment, maybe even help with marketing and legal stuff.
So it's like a nurturing environment
Yeah, exactly.
for new businesses.
So Pamela's project is a really great example
Yeah.
of how these initiatives can create real, tangible results.
Mm-hmm.
It shows that fostering entrepreneurship can give young people a chance to solve real-world problems,
Yeah.
to build successful businesses,
Right.
and to contribute to the economic and social well-being of their communities.
That's really inspiring.
It is.
Pamela's story is really amazing.
Yeah, it's a great example.
It really shows how powerful it is to support these young entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
like giving them the opportunity to make a difference.
It makes you wonder.
It makes you wonder what other incredible solutions are out there,
Yeah.
like students around the world.
Yeah, like what are they working on?
What kind of things are they developing?
There's so much potential out there.
What I find really interesting about this whole thing is the collaborative spirit
Yeah.
in Kenya.
It's really cool.
It's not just the universities working alone.
Right. It's like everyone's involved.
They're working with the government, with industry. It's
Wow.
like they're saying, okay, knowledge is great,
Right.
but let's make sure it's actually useful.
Let's put it to work.
Do you think traditional education systems are struggling to keep up
Oh, that's a big question.
with how fast things are changing?
I mean, in a lot of ways, traditional education has always been about teaching a set of facts.
Right.
But the world is changing so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And those facts can become outdated really fast.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think universities need to adapt.
Like how?
They need to teach students how to learn,
Mm-hmm.
how to adapt, how to be flexible
Yeah.
throughout their whole careers.
So it's less about memorizing facts and figures
Right.
and more about developing a mindset
Yeah,
that embraces lifelong learning.
exactly.
And universities could really help with that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
They can become these hubs
Uh-huh.
for continuous learning.
They could offer degrees, but also like professional development courses,
Yeah.
reskilling programs, things like that.
Yeah,
That's a really interesting concept.
it is.
What would that actually look like, though?
Like, are there any universities that are already doing this well?
Oh, yeah. There are some great examples.
Of what?
Like MIT or
Mhm.
Stanford
Oh, okay, yeah.
in the U.S.
Mhm.
They've got these online learning platforms,
Yeah.
boot camps for specific skills,
Right.
executive education programs,
Oh,
all kinds of
but
stuff.
they're not just for students, right?
Oh, no, not at
No.
all.
It's for working professionals and lifelong learners.
Anyone who wants to keep learning and growing.
So these universities are really becoming part of their communities.
Exactly.
They're not just these isolated institutions anymore.
They're serving a much broader purpose.
And that's good for everyone, right?
Yeah, it is.
The universities get to learn about the real world,
Uh-huh.
and the communities benefit from all that knowledge and expertise.
It's a win-win.
It is.
This is about so much more than just Kenya.
Yeah,
It's a global shift
it
in
is.
how we think about education.
And the really exciting thing is,
Yeah,
this is coming from the ground up.
it is.
It's students and educators and entrepreneurs and policymakers.
Everyone's realizing
They're all realizing things need to change.
that education needs to evolve.
And they're working together to make it happen.
It's really powerful.
Yeah, it really feels like we're at this turning point for education,
It does, doesn't
where
it?
it's becoming so much more
Mm-mm.
connected to the real world, like really preparing students for this, crazy world that keeps changing so fast.
Totally. And it's not just about, stuffing their heads with facts anymore.
Right.
It's about giving them the tools to solve real problems.
And I think what's really cool is how much emphasis there is on empowering young people.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about, them sitting there and being taught.
Right.
They're being encouraged to be creative, to innovate, to actually find solutions.
Yeah, they're not passive anymore. They're active participants.
And it all comes back to this vision that Kenya has, right?
Yeah.
Where universities are these engines
Mm-hmm.
of innovation and entrepreneurship.
It's a really powerful model.
Do you think this could work in other countries too?
I think so.
Like, what makes Kenya's approach so unique?
Well, I think part of it is that Kenya has these specific challenges.
Okay.
Like they need to develop their economy, create jobs, reduce their reliance on imports.
Yeah.
And this focus on entrepreneurship really addresses those needs.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
those underlying principles,
Like what?
like collaboration,
Yeah.
putting knowledge to work in the real world,
Mm-hmm.
empowering young people.
Those ideas are universal.
Yeah, anyone can use them.
So you're saying that while the specifics might need to be tweaked,
Right.
the core idea of universities
Mm-hmm.
driving innovation and entrepreneurship could have a global impact.
I think it could.
Yeah.
Just imagine universities all over the world
Yeah.
actively working to solve problems,
That's pretty amazing.
partnering with industry,
Yeah.
giving students the tools to change the world.
But it kind of makes you wonder,
Right.
what can we as individuals actually do
Yeah.
to support this?
It's a big question.
It feels kind of overwhelming.
I don't think it has to be overwhelming.
Okay.
We can all contribute in our own ways.
Like how?
Like if you're a student, you can look for ways to use what you're learning
Mm-hmm.
to solve real problems,
Yeah.
If you're an educator, you can encourage your students to think like entrepreneurs. You can partner with businesses
Yeah.
to give students real-world experience.
If you're an investor, you can support startups that are doing good things.
Exactly.
And if you're just a regular person,
Yeah?
you can choose to spend your money at businesses that are, making a positive impact.
It all adds up.
So even small things can make a difference.
I really believe that.
It's about building this culture
Yeah.
where we value creativity and we're not afraid to take risks.
And where we see failure as a chance to learn and grow.
It starts with each of us.
It does.
Wow, this deep dive has really given me a lot to think about.
Me too.
It's not just about Kenya.
Right.
It's about a whole new way of looking at education and its role in shaping the future.
Yeah.
So, to all of you listening out there, we'll leave you with this. What role will you play in building this future? What action will you take today to help create a more entrepreneurial and innovative world?